The New York Knicks. We are the New York Knicks.
Oh, yeah.
We are the New York Knicks. Say, go New York, go New York, go. Go New York, go New York, go.
This might be one of the better times I'll ever hear this song. You come off a game one win. It's hilarious how even in the 90s, the Knicks and 76ers never played in the playoffs, so they didn't make the song.
We need the song with you singing the lyrics on top of it. We need to get the instrumental.
That would be terrible. I think we would actually lose all listeners possible. I think it's good. All right, you can shut it off.
Oh, yeah. I gotta find it. Hold on.
No, it's done.
You said go louder?
Go louder. Don't go louder. Don't go louder. Definitely not. Oh, State wants to pop on. I was actually hoping for this. I forgot I told State.
Get him in.
I forgot I told State on
Get him in. Send him that link.
I am. I'm trying to see. I don't even know if this is the link or not because it says it's the link on our end. I don't know if it's the same one.
I'll get it. I'll get it to him. I got it. Do your show. Okay. I got it.
All right, word up. Let's go. Oh my God. For anyone that doesn't know, the Knicks won. Obviously, every single person watching this knows that. 111-104. We don't really have to really deep dive into the game. There's like 40. I've listened to personally like 8 or 9 different Knicks podcasts, like watched multiple YouTube clips, and then like 4 or 5 76ers podcasts about like all of the ins and outs, the offensive rebounding, the transition points, all that good stuff. Deuce McBride. I mean, come on, man. I'm one of the leaders of the Deuce McBride train. We all knew that was going to happen.
Yo, Deuce, what is State's actual username? State. I can't message BKE State. I can't find you. What's his actual username?
I think it's State from Harlem. I'm pretty sure. Yeah. But what's it called? So I don't have to really deep dive into that. I want to talk about a couple different things real quick. First off, The Athletic did their anonymous voting again for their players, right? And 2 things that are mind-numbingly ridiculous where they ended up. Once again, Tom Thibodeau is above and beyond the least desirable coach to play for in the league. Out of they had 77 voters, 77 players voted. This man got 47% of the votes. 47% out of the 77. So I think he got 39 votes. If my math is right.
Hey, invites in your inbox, buddy.
Which I really think at this point they're just interviewing Obi Toppin, Cam Reddish, the Cleveland Cavaliers, and the Philadelphia 76ers currently. Like today they did this. Because if I'm a Cav, I never want to see Tom Thibodeau again. He made me look soft. He made me think Jared Allen said the lights are too bright. When allegedly Jared Allen's a defensive stopper and a great center. Allegedly Jared Allen ends up higher up than both Mitchell Robinson and Isaiah Hartenstein in center rankings that people do all the time. So I think that's the type of player that would be voting that Tom Thibodeau is the least likely coach they want to play for. What's funny is that second place all the way down at 9%, so literally like 30 less votes out of the 77 is Doc Rivers. I just wanted to point that out there, that for some reason this guy just keeps talking his way into phenomenal, amazing jobs with multiple future Hall of Famers and All-Stars, and just he's not even desirable to be played for by a lot of people. The other one that I wanted to talk about from The Athletic, them doing this poll, and this one actually had way more votes, 132 votes cast by current NBA players. OG Anunoby. It said, who's the best defender was the question. And OG Anunoby got 1.5% of votes. He got 2 votes. 2 votes! Maybe 3. I don't know. Something like that. He's behind Isaac Okoro at 3% of votes, so he got double the votes. Jonathan Isaac, respectable, doesn't even play 30 minutes a game for how good he is. Like, God. Victor Wembanyama was first at 15%. His very first year in the league, this dude's already first, 7'4" with the wingspan like that. Already scaring people from going inside the paint. His team was terrible, so scary hours for the NBA the rest of the time. Drew Holiday got 13%. Lou Dort got 10%. And anyone that watched OKC Pelicans last night, Lou Dort had Brandon Ingram in hell. And CJ McCollum, for some reason, thought it was his time to shine, like it's 2017, and it wasn't, and they lost by 2. As McCollum fumbled the ball, pump fake to 3 and then missed it. He thought it was good though. He held that follow through on the lean in for a while before he finally realized it wasn't going in. But he's just behind Isaac Okoro is most annoying. Kawhi Leonard's up there, Draymond Green, Jalen Suggs, Bam Adebayo, which Jalen Suggs, another guy. Like, do it for more than 2 years. You know what I mean? If OG was healthy all the time, I think he would actually be much higher up on this list. Herb Jones is up there, Jaden McDaniels, guys I talk about all the time. Yeah, disrespect. Tibbs gets a lot of disrespect. OG getting a little disrespect. Is it partly injury related? Most likely. JJ, what up, man? How's it going? Knicks 2024 NBA champs. I like that you changed your name. Tekler Rory Williams Frankson, you've commented this at 8:30 in the morning. Salute to you. JJ goes, salute. I will say I don't want OG on Maxey. He's too slow-footed. So, I believe today, specifically, with the news that came out this morning that Tyrese Maxey is questionable with an illness, which means he's going to play. But I do think
You're welcome. I did that.
You got him sick?
I did that.
Nice. You've been sick for a while, man. It's been a mean stomach bug. So, Vin's in the background for anyone that is like, where did that voice come from? I do think that if Tyrese Maxey is a little ill today, if he's a step slower, that does take away the only weakness to OG Anunoby's defensive game, which is like he's just not the only thing he's not the best at, or one of the best at from being a perimeter defender, is like over the top speedy guys. And Tyrese Maxey might be the fastest player in the league. Him, De'Aaron Fox, there's a couple others that I'm just not going to try to remember right now, but one of the fastest. And OG is not the most fluid moving of foot, as we all know. It kind of goes into why he's not always the best offensively. So he does sometimes a step slow. I think Maxey being sick might actually take that away a little bit. And let's go back. Yeah, JJ says exactly. Speedy PGs aren't the matchup for OJ, which is okay. He can cover like 98% of the league. He just can't cover 7'5" guys, and he can't cover the fastest guys in the league. And I mean, that's fine. Eric Medell goes Suggs locking up. HVL is an MVP candidate. That would be, yeah. I like Jalen Suggs. I think he's really good. I do think Jalen, I forgot who posted it. It was just on Twitter like an hour ago. Jalen Suggs should shave his head.
The link is sent.
It's in our chat.
You're not a real man. Get in here.
He probably said it and left. Salute Vin, Joe, and the BKE fam. Eugenio, what up, man? Salute to you. So I want to, Vin, let's actually get into this game for tonight a little bit, because obviously last game, Jalen Brunson, who's actually all year been worse at playing the Sixers. Kelly Oubre's length, Kyle Lowry being one of the smartest guys in the league defensively and just overall, even at his advanced stage, 38 years old. Nick Batum, for all the things that Tobias Harris, if you ask all of his fan base, suck at this point, or they're like, please get this guy off the floor. He's also a guy that just can throw length at someone. He led the team in rebounding last game. I mean, I don't know how much that's really worthwhile when only 1 or 2 rebounds actually seemed like they really meant something, but he did lead the Sixers in rebounding. He's a longer defender. But so Brunson just hasn't done well against his team all year. He went 22 points, 8 of 26 from the field, only 1 of 6 from 3, which Josh Hart made 4, Dante made 2 of 5. Deuce went 5 of 7, and Bogey went 3 of 6 off the bench. So him going 1 of 6 still didn't stop the team from shooting 45% from 3. If Brunson actually made 2 more of those, were shooting 50% from 3, and this is even a more lopsided game than it ended up being. And we would have had less crunch time fourth quarter minutes that relied on Josh Hart making 3s and OG making the 1. So they cover him well. They've covered him well all year. But the Sixers are now 1-4 against the Knicks, including the 1 postseason game and the 4 regular season games. Even with covering Jalen Brunson as well as they have. I've listening to so many Sixers guys, they're just so they're like trying to spin it positively. Like we're shutting down Brunson. We're doing what we want. Like the Sixers have sucked rebounding all season. One of the worst. They're 26th in defensive rate, 24th in overall defense or overall rebounding rate. I think definitely 26th, maybe 24th, somewhere around there for overall. The Knicks are number 1 in offensive rebound rate. Mitchell Robinson, Isaiah Hartenstein, and Josh Hart all grab boards constantly on both ends. Jalen Brunson had 5 offensive rebounds in the first game, considering that he didn't shoot well. He had a bad shooting game and still played a decent game overall. 22 points, 7 rebounds, 7 assists. Shot of 8 of 26. That sucks. Had 5 turnovers. I think 3 of them were in the first half. Not the best. It took him a little while to adjust. But just an overall, like, a good game manager style game. And for Sixers fans, like, Tyrese Maxey is now sick. Joel Embiid, which was my whole point of picking the Knicks in 5 at the beginning of the series. Like, if this is prime peak Joel Embiid, at first quarter Joel Embiid, who scored 15 points in the first quarter and then 14 points the rest of the game and didn't make a single shot in the fourth quarter. Before and after the injury we all saw, which came on like an all-star, all-NBA, former MVP level play. This man pump fakes Mitchell Robinson, gets him to move up a little bit, moves around him, throws the ball off the backboard to himself, and yams it home. Phenomenal all-star, all-NBA level play. And just immediately crumbled to the ground with left knee pain. Like, that's why anyone that picked, like, if you ask a bunch of Knicks fans with truth serum, hey, Embiid is fully healthy, what do you think this goes? I bet you get a lot of 7-game picks, Knicks in 7. I mean, I still think homerism reigns supreme, and I think the Knicks roster top to bottom is still better. But you're getting a lot more Sixers picks. You're getting a lot more Knicks in 7. A lot of us picked Knicks in 5 or Knicks in 6. Is that partly brashness? Maybe. But for me specifically, it had everything to do with Joel Embiid's health. This man literally did the same thing in the Orlando game, the second or third to last game of the year. Was playing great in the first quarter, has a major scare in the second quarter, misses the rest of the half, comes out halfway through the third, and plays worse, is skittish, not willing to go up on hedges on screens defensively, stuck in a drop that he can't really move in. Not willing to attack the paint offensively, not trying to back guys down. He's trying to shoot from deep, trying to play more of a mid-range and 3-point game. Joel Embiid from the mid-range is lethal. He's not even willing to take mid-range shots on iHeart or mostly Mitchell Robinson from the first game. He just didn't have faith in the pump fake, didn't have faith in elevation. All 3-point attempts in the second half, basically. Not looking good. I'm just not having faith in this guy. And if Tyrese Maxey is sick tonight, and then we start with OG on him, we throw Deuce and Dante at him, we throw Josh Hart, you constantly hedge the lanes, you constantly fill up space, you pack the paint, and then is Kyle Lowry going to score 18 points on us? Knowing Kyle Lowry's history with the Knicks, he probably could, but they still lost the first game. Is Nick Batum going to get a 20-point game on us? He's done it once the whole season. And technically, the 20-point game doesn't even count on the record books because it happened in the play-in. In the past 2 years, Nick Batum has had 5 total 20-point games. 5 total games of at least 19. He got 19 twice. That's not reliably happening. Tobias Harris, his fan base hates him. I don't think Tobias even wants to be in Philly anymore. Good for this man for making over $35 million a year or $34 million a year, whatever the heck that crazy contract was. All that Tobias Harris is going to be known as a 76er in the footnote of history is that we chose this guy over Jimmy Butler. We traded Jimmy Butler and kept Tobias Harris. That is Tobias Harris's history 5 to 10 years from now as a Sixer fan. Like, Kelly Oubre is as likely to go off as Deuce McBride or Bojan Bogdanovic is, which means there probably will be a Kelly Oubre game at least once in this series. It's not going to happen 4 times. I'm sorry, it's just not. And Kelly Oubre, if his best and most utilized skill is going to be on the defensive end, which is going to have to do a lot, he's been the primary defender on Jalen Brunson. And again, the guy shot 8 for 26 and had 5 turnovers. He's doing a bang-up job. Him, Batum, and Lowry are all doing great in their assignments. But Kelly Oubre only took 7 shots the first game, had 10 points. Went to the line twice for 4 attempts. Like, he's working. He had 5 steals, which is really a testament to his defense and how well he played on that end. But his job is to be out there to make Jalen Brunson hell. Nick Batum had 3 points on 4 shots. He won 1 for 4 from 3, 1 for 4 total. His job is to try to make Jalen Brunson and Dante DiVincenzo's life hell. They're relying so much on Tyrese Maxey and Joel Embiid. And now Tyrese Maxey unless he's going to have a flu game, which good luck, man. I wish you best of luck, honestly, to try to have a flu game on this smothering New York defense. And Joel Embiid on one leg. The guy, literally multiple outlets posted Joel Embiid hobbling outside after game one in the Garden. Like, was it a bad angle? Yeah, I mean, he could have literally been doing the guy thing where you have to readjust and you take a step, but like his leg still looks a little wobbly. Vin, what did you tell me this morning? Joel Embiid was practicing barefoot. Do you know why that was? Or
no, I don't know. But Joel Embiid had the dogs on the MSG floor today, feet out. Looked like he was wearing slides, but he wasn't wearing them, and he just had those ugly ass toes on the floor.
At least he doesn't paint his nails like Tom Sandoval. If you know, you know. JJ goes. He's got to let it go. Suggs' hair looking rough. Knicks 2024 champs. OG needs to be on Oubre and Harris. Don't need role players making a name for themselves in MSG. I'm going to worry about that way more. I honestly think Tobias Harris is in his own head. I would worry way more about Kyle Lowry as their third fiddle at this point than Tobias Harris. Kelly Oubre, you know if he's going to have a good game or not within he's kind of like Bogdanovic in this sense offensively. Within 2 shots, you know if he's on or off. And like, you can kind of adjust to what you're doing based on that. Like, he had 10 points against us this game. What was the one game he actually had against us that was really good this year? I'm trying to scroll through his thing real quick. He had 19 the last time they played on 7-15 shooting. He had 14 against us. I think he only played 3 of the 4 games, if I'm not mistaken. And then the first game, he had 15. So the guy scores between 10 to 20 points every game. And we still won 3 of these 4 games. 4 of the 5 now. You'll know if Kelly Oubre's on very quickly, and you'll know what to do very quickly based off of that. I think having Josh Hart on Oubre more so, like they were doing, and Tobias Harris's downfall that this dude is now covered by Jalen Brunson being the high defender it's really unbelievable what has happened to Tobias Harris's career in Philadelphia. Just what fell off the face of the earth. Just unlike Ben Simmons, he actually plays every game. You gotta at least say that about the guy. Eugenio goes, JB will make adjustments. We just need to keep playing the 3 that kills us and stop Maxey. Embiid can barely jump, which goes to the point that the 76ers. So the 76ers are going to suck at rebounding all series. They can try. I would say the only thing they could really try to do, and I'm amazed that they gave Buddy Hield 10 minutes and the guy wasn't willing to shoot, but Ricky Council the fourth, who is one of their great young players, not great in the sense of great, but just like a go-getter, like a Josh Hart style, like I'm going to try my butt off and try to do as much as possible and just be everywhere at one time. At least he's a dog and he'll try to get the ball. Will he take shots? I would be really skeptical to assume Ricky Council would be willing to jack up more than 1 or 2 shots in the game, even if he got 10, 15 minutes. But Ricky Council, KJ Martin, I don't know how they're giving Tobias Harris 30 minutes. And I can't imagine it's going to last that long. I don't know how you give Buddy Hield 10 minutes if he's not. He sucks at defense. He can't pass. He's not a playmaker. You get paid to shoot the ball. Buddy Hield is the franchise record setter for multiple teams for three-pointers made in a season. He is Dante DiVincenzo on multiple teams. And he just didn't shoot. You're only paid to shoot. They traded for you to shoot the ball. So literally they should play Council or Martin. I don't know. You can't give. I mean, I, as a Knicks fan, give Tobias Harris all of the minutes. Have him play the whole game. I don't even care. Don't give him a break. Maybe he'll get there sooner or later, mentality wise.
I'm a Sooner homer. I like my Sooners, right?
Good old Oklahoma, yeah.
I like a little Blake. I liked Blake, and I'm really shocked at this Buddy Hield thing, man. I'm really shocked Buddy Hield really didn't do anything for them. Do you think it comes down to the experience, just being there?
Dude, Buddy Hield's played in multiple playoffs.
How many playoffs he's been so far?
I'm looking at his thing right now. He's played. No, he is not. Wow. I forgot. He had the record he was one of the all-time leaders of most games played without ever making the postseason.
Yeah, this is his first.
Wow. This dude's been in the league since 2016. That is insane. Wow. Dude, so he came over to Philly. He played 32 games for the Sixers this year and 32 games for Indy. Or 52 games for Indy. For all the games he played. And he averaged 12 points on 43, 39, 92 in the games for Philly. He actually shot better from three for Philly than he did for Indy, which is kind of wild that he had Tyrese Maxey. He had Tyrese Halliburton setting him up, allegedly one of the best point guards in the league, as this guy's fallen off a cliff. I can't believe we had to have Tyrese Halliburton versus Jalen Brunson talk in November. The guy almost wins the in-season tournament that isn't really a thing and has no history yet. Loses to LeBron because of course he did. Of course LeBron won the first one, and then what's that? Like, come on. Halliburton, get out of here. But yeah, dude, Buddy Hield, you get paid to shoot. If you're not going to shoot, you can't be out there. You're not good at anything else.
Buddy Hield is supposed to be their Miles McBride.
No, because McBride's good at defense. No, it's I think Buddy Hield is supposed to be their Bogdanovic.
Oh, speaking of Bogdanovic, I hope everyone sees how important it is that veteran presence is, and just a guy who's lived in the playoffs his entire career.
Unlike Buddy Hield.
Unlike Buddy Hield, yeah. This dude, Bogdanovic, is just so comfortable in the playoffs. He's been there so many times.
Why did State not come up, man? He literally told me on Friday.
I texted him personally, too. I got his number. I texted him. Nothing.
I'm sorry. He's probably at work and then just sent it, and then was like, oh, shit, I wasn't actually ready.
No, State, I'm gonna chew State up after this for not coming.
Hey, Vin, I know who you want to really chew up. I'm gonna give you a solid 90 seconds on Barstool Sports stealing your Josh Hart design.
Yeah, I get the floor.
Yeah, all you. All you.
Right, fuck it. We're going to start some Twitter beef. Everybody that's listening.
I don't think they'll see it.
You probably already know the shirt. If you checked out our store, it's the I Heart New York shirt with a picture of Josh Hart.
As the Hart.
We had it ready and available, but if you go look at our Twitter and Instagram, you can see Barstool Sports released a shirt yesterday that is identical. It's the same exact shirt. So all of our followers and
they colored in Josh Hart's face.
All of our followers, true supporters, we've been trying to get in touch with Barstool because of this. There's no direct line to them. You would think that we have enough clout to, just DM them, but no, they don't answer. And to make this better, I had some people say, hey, maybe it's just coincidence. And I'm going to nip that in the bud because last year we sent them a picture of that shirt and asked if they wanted to collab. It was seen, not responded. And then this year they released the same exact shirt. So, yeah, if you guys can, go on Barstool and tell them to go fuck themselves.
Hey, that was your only swear of the game. We can't say F words. We've been doing really good. We've been doing good for the family show.
Tell them to go freak themselves.
Yeah, go freak yourself. Adios, New York. What up? Salute. Let's go, Knicks. Villanova. Philly slept on Hart and paid the price. Yeah, I mean, dude, Josh Hart's a good player. I know sometimes he's like very skittish shooting, and we all knew that. If we knew that, he knows that. Tibbs knows that. Dante and Jalen Brunson are giving him shit. Like, hey, you're going to be open. Take the shot. And he hit it. What's wild is they started out 1 for 4 from 3, made the first one of the game. Was terrible for the rest. Not terrible, but like just not shooting well from deep second and third quarter. The fourth quarter comes. The man becomes a Steph Curry savant for 3 minutes and just ices the game. Like, thank you. Josh Hart, it's all about timing. Joel Embiid, also, it's all about timing. Maybe you should stop being healthy and good in the first quarter and try to move it to the fourth quarter. Like, you try so hard to be healthy and good in the regular season to win your MVP, and you should try to move it to the postseason. I was listening to Bill Simmons last night, him and Russillo, and Bill Simmons was saying that he was texting an actual Philly 76er fan he had, and unironically, they were like, should Joel Embiid only play the second half and just not play in the first half of these games? And also, not ironically, I think that would be a very smart and very good decision. Is he going to do that? No. Would Nick Nurse do that? Also no. I actually don't know any coach or team that ever does that. It's not like the old school, you suspend the high school or college football player for the first half if they could play the second half. Suspend Joel Embiid, man. Just say he's out for the first half. You're suspended because your legs hurt. Give it a shot. We have 279 on Twitter, 18 on YouTube watching. Thank you all. Salute. Everyone hit the thumbs up. Make sure you check out our sponsor for the postseason, Autograph. It's a really dope app, autograph.io if you find them on social media. Download Autograph. Make sure you use the code BKE. The link is in the description on our YouTube for the YouTube description, and it's also in our Twitter bio. It's under our link tree. It's the very top thing right now. Autograph is really cool. It's all content for every specific NBA and NCAA basketball team, all in one place. I posted on our threads earlier today that I'm following both the Knicks and the 76ers pages on Autograph right now. Knock on wood. Hopefully the Knicks make it to round 2. I'm going to take off the Sixers. Whether it's the Bucks or the Pacers, I'm going to add them, have all their content in one spot. It's a really, really cool app. Make sure you check out Autograph. Also, check out our shop, bignickenergy.com. We have a bunch of cool stuff. Get all your playoff gear there. As you can imagine, one of our hottest selling shirts in the past couple of days has been our Deuce's Loose shirt. It's Deuce McBride, his hair poking out, his eyes. He's holding a number 2 Deuce in front of his mouth. Really cool shirt, one of my favorites. You can get this awesome hat, which is probably the thing I wear the most from BKE. Because I'm bald, you got to wear hats a lot of the time. Check out our shop, bignickenergy.com. And yeah, let's get back to some of these comments. Eugenio goes, he blew his ish out. Shame on the Sixers putting him out there in the second half. He should pack it up before he gets Patrick Ewing knees. I think Joel Embiid is already on the way up there with the injury history and like with him. When's the last time he's played over 60 games, 65 games? What, once in the past 4 years? It was last year, right? No, he did play. So this year he played 39. Last year he played 66. 2 years ago he played 68. The shortened year for COVID, he played 51. 51, 64, 63, 31. He's never played 70 games. And for him to, he's only even played over 65 or 65 or more, which is now the new threshold for all the awards. He's only done that twice in his career. This guy, maybe he should really just focus on like, I don't know. I really don't know. Like focus on like losing body fat, losing anything, like getting his endurance up. Don't play until January. Just play like a 5-month season. Maybe it'll make him go longer. Like, Joel, you got your MVP. Everyone thinks Nikola Jokic is just way better than you now because he has multiple MVPs and a title. And there's a strong chance they go back to back. And I know for years and years, your biggest fans were like, he's better than Jokic. He's better than Jokic. Like, he's one of the best of all time. Has Kareem-like moves. Has, like, Wilt-like moves. Like, dude, it's just, you got to prove it in the playoffs. It's the most important part, and you're never healthy. And as a Knicks fan that, like, wants to, like, I said this before going in, the reason why I was down for the 2 seed in the sense of getting Miami or getting you guys was that I want the Knicks to prove either they're good enough to actually get to the finals as is, or prove that they were actually so far behind the Sixers or the Heat or the Bucks, especially the Celtics, which I think I hope we run into at some point in the ECF. But if you figure out you're that far behind, then you know you still have to make moves to get to the top. And my ultimate goal as a fan is to see a championship in my lifetime. Mets, Jets, Knicks. JJ in the chat knows. I cheer for failure all the time, man. Salute to the NFL draft on Thursday. Hopefully the Jets don't make the wrong move, but I almost expect they always will. I'm not going to really get into that right now. We'll get into that later in the week. But I just I wanted the Knicks to go up against the very best and prove that they're the best. And hurt Joel Embiid, and now for one game, sick Tyrese Maxey. It's like, if they lose tonight, it's because of Stephen A and no other reason. I'm saying that mostly hyperbolically. No one has to take me that seriously. Although, you can't all tell me, as fans, if the Knicks lose tonight, Stephen A. Smith going to the game and announcing he's going to the game on national TV does not irk the back of your brain a little bit like it's Stephen A.'s fault, man. I swear to God. It's all because Stephen A. This man didn't even know who Isaiah Hartenstein was in January. The guy was on the team for a year and a half prior to then. Unbelievable. He's not a real fan. Stephen A., if we win tonight and you're there, it will be okay. Adios, already the salute. Let's go, Knicks. Eugenio goes, the Sixers are trash without a fully healthy Embiid. Pack it up. Again, I picked Knicks in 5 for a reason, man. It's because of his health more than anything else. JB and Dante have to have way better games tonight. I feel it. Agreed. For real 100%. Absolutely. I'm like so far behind on these comments, by the way. The Jets just traded Zach Wilson to Denver. That might have to actually, I might have to sidetrack for like 5 minutes from this to actually go into that. So game 1, Jalen Brunson and Dante DiVincenzo combined for 30 points on 11 of 36 shooting, including 3 of 11 from 3. And I don't think that'll happen again. Another thing that all the Sixers podcasts and fans were trying to spin, like the fact that they did so good, or the fact that like Miles McBride had this 21-point game, which, by the way, McBride's played the Sixers 5 times this year. He had 0 points and 4 points in 2 of the games, and 13, 15, and 21 in 3 of the games. All 3 of the 13-plus games, he's made at least 3 threes. The first game of the season, or not the first game of the season, his first big up-and-coming game after the OG Anunoby, Precious Achiuwa, IQ, and RJ trade was against the Sixers in that 128-92 blowout. And it was one of the first things that we posted on our YouTube as a short that was like, here's like a game highlight of a guy. It was just Miles McBride's first quarter, just banging threes, like got a steal, like had a fun, like, and then they're like, oh my God, then they're like, as in the Sixers people over the past couple of days saying, we had to Google who Miles McBride was. Who's Deuce McBride? The guy torched you in January the first time in the middle of Embiid's huge 30-10 run, which another thing about Joel Embiid, the guy and the player. You know you have an injury history and you made it a point to constantly go out there to make sure you got 30 and 10. When the Knicks were playing the Sixers in that 36-point blowout, whatever it was, he played the fourth quarter to get to 10 rebounds and 30 points. Like, dude, you're down 30. You have an injury history. This isn't the mindset you're supposed to have. It's about the playoffs. It's about the playoffs. That's it. Nothing else. You have an MVP. You've shown regular season success. You're not going to be an all-time great if you never get beyond that. I'm going to try to have to skip over these a little bit real quick. Knicks in 2024, who does Deuce have guarding him? Maxey, Kyle, Oubre, Josh, and OG guarding him. Well, I mean, the thing is they try to seg off McBride a little bit, and then you can't have Buddy Hield on the guy. I think they tried that for a little while. They had Buddy Hield. They have Lowry covering him when Brunson's not out there. Nick Batum. I mean, between Batum, Lowry, Oubre, and Harris, like that's a lot of their rotation of like wing defenders and guys that have to switch and cover. Obviously, Oubre was on Brunson the most, but then from the other 3 between Hart, Devo, OG, McBride, Bogdanovic, they were kind of running a 1-3-1 for a short time because they were trying to always double Brunson and get the ball out of his hands, which is so weird that Nurse would even do that in the first place, knowing how good Oubre's been on Brunson. Like, he kind of did a little in the first game, what Tibbs ended up doing with Jimmy Butler last year that drove us all nuts. Like, this guy is a little hobbled, or like your defense is doing well. Brunson's not hobbled, but Butler was last year. Your defense is doing well. Stop trying to double him so much. Just let him go man to man, heads up, and go from there. So, but I mean, if you're going to sag off McBride, the only person you can sag off out of those people, Devo, McBride, OG, Hart, and Bogdanovic, is Josh Hart from the 3-point line. And Josh Hart went 4 for 8, including 3 in the fourth quarter. So it's a pick your poison kind of thing. The reason why I think the Knicks have a better roster top to bottom is that, like, Kelly Oubre on this team is like the 3rd or 4th best player. He'd be like 5th or 6th in the Knicks. Like, yeah, Embiid's the best player when healthy. I think currently Jalen Brunson's the best player because Embiid's not healthy, again, for the 50th time. But Embiid and Maxey are still 2 of the 3 best players in the series. But from there, it's like, you're taking, 3 Knicks before you take a Sixer? And the fact that you're supposed to take Tobias Harris as the next Sixer, which that's not the case anymore. It's got to be Oubre or then even Lowry in a lesser extent, because playoff Lowry at least is a guy that knows what to do and he's not scared to shoot. I don't get it. I'm really excited to see once the series, knock on wood, gets to 3-1 Knicks, like how much Sixers fans are going to be like, we were wrong, or are they just going to blame health the whole time? Which might be the case, honestly. If you're the type of Homer fan that always makes up excuses when your team loses and doesn't take ownership and only takes ownership when they win, you're going to blame health. And they should blame Embiid shouldn't have come back, or Embiid could have missed all of April and come back in the first round. I don't know. I have no clue. JJ goes, Dante's got to step up. He's been a pretty bad playoff performer in recent years with the Bucks and Warriors. We need him. This is definitely his biggest role on a playoff team. And I don't think Dante's going to go 2 games in a row where he's taking less than 10 shots. Or did he? What was it, 10 shots, 11 shots? He took 10 shots, yeah. And he went 2 of 5 from 3. I mean, they covered the space well. He had a game worst minus 23 for the Knicks, which makes sense because obviously a lot of the game that he was out and McBride was in, that was when the Knicks were making their run and McBride had a game high plus 37. Yeah, so Dante, we want you to step up, man. We do need you to step up. I totally agree. And there's going to be a 20 or 25-point Dante game. That's looming. It might be even tonight. It might just be the next game adjustments. BK Kicks from Twitter goes, need to put Embiid in more pick and rolls if he actually plays tonight. I think he's 100% going to play tonight. I would be amazed if he didn't. And yeah, they have to put him in action. Even if he's not covering Hart, or they try to have him cover someone in the corner and like stay in the paint, like have that guy come up and get him in pick and rolls. Like part of the reason why they're trapping Brunson is to make sure they can save Embiid on the defensive end and not have to have him be involved in pick and roll situations. Set a pick or higher up, like set a pick near half court when Brunson's bringing the ball up. Like have him going downhill. Like get Embiid involved. And this game, unlike last game, the Knicks have to attack the paint. You got to test them. You can't be scared. We can't do any of these half-ass floaters that Dante or Hart were doing. Like you got to go at the guy. He can't jump. He's literally jumping off of one leg right now. Like go at him. Deuce could very well average 18 to 20 points per game in this series. I totally agree. I think he'll probably end up around 16. Like he could very easily, like he got 21 last game. He could end up at like 10 tonight, and the Knicks could still win because they have so many other guys that can put it up and get hot. Vin's a 7-foot cow tipper because he likes the Sooners. That's mad funny. Techler goes, rumor the Knicks were not satisfied with their crazy victory in the locker room Saturday. What do you think? They shouldn't be satisfied. This team has like finals aspirations. I feel like you're a 2 seed. You got 50 wins. Like they made the second round last year and won 2 games in the second round. I don't think they should be satisfied at all with anything in the first round. Like this is bare minimum. And like I'm talking about, like we're all thinking, like the Sixers aren't fully healthy, and the Sixers unhealthy are an inferior team. Straight up, like if the Knicks won this series anywhere beyond 4-2, like if this needed to go to game 7, or God forbid they lost the series, like that would be very, very disappointing. And then winning a close game 1 isn't going to be like a thing that we're going to look back on. What's going to be looked back on if the Knicks lost the series are all of the fans chanting F Trae Young or F Embiid outside the stadium like they won the title. Which I'm actually a fan of being that excited and doing. Totally cool with that. I hope that we can actually show the world what New York City is going to be like when the Knicks win the title, because then they're going to be like, oh, that was nothing. Now I get how loud and crazy they are as fans and a fan base. They are just like that normally. Like F Trae Young chants happen during some regular season wins that the Hawks aren't involved in. It's just been a funny chant at this point. I don't even know. I'm amazed that it's actually been going as many years as it had. Like that series was in 2021 and it's 2024 now. And we didn't even have Jalen Brunson at that time. Like Reggie Bullock and Elfrid Payton were getting major minutes. It's just insane how 3 years change, and yet we're still doing that. But yeah, I don't think they should be satisfied. Straight up. It's on to the next one. On to the next. Brian Sutton goes, Kelly and Nick Batum are great defenders who have given Brunson problems. I'm glad we got the win with him struggling. I was happy with his playmaking. Got guys like Hart and OG. Jokic is not that much better than Embiid when healthy, but I get your take. The whole thing is the playoffs, man. And Jokic, it elevates his game in the postseason and is always available. He's just not hurt. JJ goes, the Jets just traded for Zach Wilson to Denver. Can't wait for Thursday. I'm pumped. Ralph, how's it going? Knicks in 2024 champs. Sixers lack small guard defenders. They don't have like a Deuce McBride size guy to like be a pest. They have Kyle Lowry, so they actually do have a small guard defender. It's just that it's 38-year-old Kyle Lowry, and isn't Deuce McBride just like the younger, better defensive version of that at this point? Obviously, Kyle's still a better offensive player and can really orchestrate the floor and run the game the right way, and is kind of like the version of the backup point guard that the Knicks have been needing since we traded away quickly. But defensively, he's just an older McBride at this point in his career. And that's a compliment. That's not a diss. Deuce McBride is an awesome defender. Kyle Lowry, even at his age, is still an awesome defender. But to rely on the one guy is just a lot. Carlos Salute, what up, man? How's it going? Always coming in from Portugal. Appreciate it. The Jets starting quarterback and number 2 pick, Zach Wilson, is being traded for a late round pick swap, a 6th for a 7th. So they're giving away Zach Wilson as a 7th round pick for a 6th round pick. Hit the like button for free. Appreciate it. Zach Wilson is just, thank God that part of my like fandom is over. I've had Zach Wilson apologists. I don't know if any of you people know these people yet, but there's a couple of guys from my hometown that we're all in a group chat together. Shout out Nick and Vinny if you're actually watching this. but they've been the ultimate Zach Wilson apologists and just saying it's the system, it's LaFleur, it's Hackett, it's Salah, it's the lack of offensive line, it's the lack of weapons, it's everything except for Zach Wilson. And Zach Wilson should have never gone second overall. The guy threw far and played really well when there was no fans, and even got benched at BYU twice. Like, Joe Burrow is one of the only examples of a guy that got benched and then became great in the NFL. And he got benched as like a freshman or sophomore and then set all-time records as a senior and then got drafted. So there was a lot in between of being benched as a freshman or sophomore and then setting all-time records as a senior. A lot in between there. Zach Wilson did not have all that gap before he got drafted. Came in the league too young. BYU was going up against inferior opponents. A lot of players weren't even playing that year. He had a 33-3 or 4 touchdown interception ratio, and he threw the ball so damn far at his pro day. And Joe Douglas and Robert Saleh just became enamored and happy, and just what his best throw was as a rookie to that Titans game to Corey Davis, which you can't even replicate because it's literally like a backyard junkyard dog throw, 45, 50 yards, but you can't hit an out route consistently and you can't read what the middle linebacker's doing. I'm good on Zach Wilson not being part of my fandom experience anymore. Thank God. Hit the like button, though. Like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. Check out our sponsors, BigNickEnergy.com. Make sure you check out our shop. We have a bunch of really cool shirts out right now. Obviously, get all your postseason stuff there. Barstool Sports stole our I Heart New York design with Josh Hart's head being the New York shirt. So get that from us, not Barstool Sports. Check out the Deuce's Loose shirt. It's one of the hottest sellers in the past 2 days because Deuce McBride. Because the Knicks won the game out of Jalen Brunson's lips to God's ears. Why did the Knicks win game 1? Because of Deuce McBride. Game high plus 37, 21 points off the bench. The man wasn't scared of anything. I forgot. I think I'm going to get the number wrong because I'm trying to remember the stat off the top of my head. But Deuce McBride had 21 points in one game, and Manuel Quickley last year had like 19 and 5 or 4 or whatever. Like, he either is about to outscore or already outscored IQ's postseason performance from last year in one game. And wow. Just wow. And Emmanuel Quickley was my favorite player on the Knicks before the trade. And just Deuce McBride is just everything I could have ever possibly envisioned for the guy. I just, like, going back to the football analogy, like the football mindset, the quarterback, like, quarterbacks are natural leaders, and if you play football, you're a dog. It just, if you're not a dog, you can't play football. You're not going to last that long. This guy is not scared of the moment. And he's in all of the work he put in college defensively and getting better as a point guard. All of the work shooting he put into the G League, shooting over 40% from 3 there, even though he was shooting like 28% in the pros last year and the year before. The guy is a total dog, and I love that this is happening. Techler goes, I anticipate the Knicks to be instinctively reactive on the defensive end and on the boards. Fast break points will be key. Black hoodies, everyone. Black hoodies, baby. Not an all-black game. We're never making that mistake again. Shout out to, it wasn't Melo's idea. It wasn't Emmanuel. Was it J.R. Smith's idea? Was it Amari Stoudemire's idea? I don't remember. Don't do all black ever again for a closeout game. But black hoodies, just keep to yourself, stay in the zone, focus. I'm all for black hoodie games every game. Not all black games, though. Bad history there. Brian goes, if Josh Hart shoots like he did in game 1, we should win this series in 6. Brunson has to look to be a playmaker first at times. He took some bad shots early in the first half. I did think he was trying to shoot himself into the game a little bit in the first half. I agree. The first quarter, specifically, he did try to shoot himself a little too much into the game. He ended up with 7 assists. I think 4 or 5 of them came in the fourth quarter, which makes a lot of sense. He was passing out of double teams to guys shooting wide open threes. And he had, out of the 5 turnovers, I think he had either 1 or 0 in the fourth quarter. So he definitely played a better game management game in the second half. I would be amazed if this goes 6, man. I know I said it before that I picked Knicks in 5, but also to win game 6 in Philly is going to be, if it gets that far, is going to be tough. Tonight is going to swing so many things. It really is. If the Knicks go up 2-0, you only need a split in Philly, and then it's 3-1. And this series is going the exact path I anticipated with a Hurt Embiid. If Philly can steal tonight after they tried to steal and failed Saturday night, when Saturday seemed like we can steal this game, they were up 31-18 at one point. They were up 5 or 6 in the fourth quarter, and they just let it slip away to Bojan Bogdanovic, Deuce McBride, Josh Hart, and Mitchell Robinson covering Joel Embiid very, very well and offensive rebounding his ass off like he always can. But I would just be amazed unless, and it's going to take a lot. It's going to take sick Maxey. It's going to take a Hurt Embiid. It's going to take Kelly Oubre or Nick Batum or Kyle Lowry, probably even two of the three, to actually shoot the lights out for a game at the same time. And it's going to take Tobias Harris to either one, get benched for some Ricky Council minutes, or two, get his head out of his ass and actually like be the 20-point scorer that we've all thought Tobias Harris could be at various points in his career that got him all the money in the first place. And that's just a lot of what ifs. That's just a lot of if this happens and if this happens and if this happens and if this happens. It's just hard to see, man. It's all the main huge domino breadcrumb is just Joel Embiid's leg. And it's just where we're at, or it's where they're at. The Knicks are fine. Honestly, I don't know. JJ goes, it's a shame Wilson didn't pan out. I'll take that 6th rounder. Don't want to hear about football. Hey, if the Jets traded Zach Wilson, man, I needed to get a couple minutes out of that. I'm sorry. Nick's Cave goes, we need to press Embiid and don't let him catch the ball. Miami did that well in the play-in game. We keep letting him get comfortable. The first quarter, they definitely let him get a little too comfortable. I agree. The second quarter, not the second quarter. The second quarter, he hurt himself, and Mitch was doing a decent job even prior to that. And then from there, he tweaked his leg, missed the rest of the second quarter. He's not comfortable at all. So I'm curious. I want to see the Knicks really put him in a lot of pick and roll action on the defensive end. I want to see them attack him also on the defensive end. I want to see them challenge him, make him go up, make him jump, dude. If you jump into a defender, half the time you're getting a call anyway, and it's put some wear on his body. He's out there. He's choosing to be out there. I'm not saying hurt the guy purposely. I'm definitely not saying do what the hell Caleb Martin did to Jason Tatum, because what some dirty crap was that? Oh my God. Drew Holiday pushed him. Yeah, maybe. Tapped him. Come on now. Miami, we know who you are, man. We know who you are, Miami. Eric Spoelstra, you did some dirty stuff. We all know it. But yeah, just challenge Embiid. Make him jump. Get into his body. Couple hard fouls, like hit his arm on the way down, like Mitchell Robinson. Don't let the shots go in easy. Don't let him sit at the 3-point line the whole time. Make him drive a little bit. Make him drive into all of us swiping our hands. Dante DiVincenzo, Josh Hart, OG Anunoby, Deuce McBride, Jalen Brunson, even Bojan Bogdanovic a little bit. All of them get their hands in the cookie jar now. That's probably one of the best things Bogdanovic has done in the past week and a half, 2 weeks, outside of him shooting the way we know he could shoot. Which, by the way, he went 4 of 12 this in game 1, but he went 3 of 6 from 3. So that's what really mattered for him to get the 12 points, 13 points on 12 shots. But yeah, just make Embiid work, man. He's out there. He's hurt. Like, it is what it is. Eugene's talking about Deuce. Deuce is better defensively than Quickly. He slowed down Maxey when Maxey was running past everyone. Deuce McBride is almost as fast as Tyrese Maxey, and when you're almost as fast as someone and they are dribbling the ball and you're not dribbling the ball, they get a little bit, as you all know, anyone that's dribbled a basketball or held any ball in your hand for a sport, like you have run faster without the ball in your hand, they do with the ball in your hand. Like Deuce is quick enough to work with Maxey, to get around screens with him. It's awesome. I love it. I just can't say enough good things about Deuce McBride, and I love Andrew Claudio, Knicks Football School, called out when he was doing a crossover pod with one of the Sixers guys. Shout out to them. That Deuce McBride was going to have a game. I think he's going to have 2 or 3 at this point, but he was right. He was it only took one game for the Deuce McBride game to come. But after the game in January, when McBride made those 4 threes in the first quarter, Sixers fans can't be surprised, and neither should we. Any of us that have watched McBride the last 4 months since the trade, we're not surprised. The guy has it in him. He's a dog. He's a dog, and he's a shooter. He shoots over 40%. That's all you need. Snipes Entertainment goes, I don't want to hear that Embiid is injured because Randall is out. We're basically playing with the second team. The Knicks work well as a team without Randall. I'm not going to be the people that say they're better without Randall. I'm not going to go down that route. I'm not going to do all that. But the Knicks have been playing without Julius Randle since, there we go, since January now. Like, they haven't had him all year. The person that's been in and out, OG Anunoby and Mitch Robinson, they both aren't main catalysts of your offense, so therefore working them in isn't as hard or as big of a deal. But we only have one player out. Is it the second best player on our team? Yes. Does that hurt? Yes. But Hurt Joel Embiid is out there, and that's they run the ball through him. They run their whole offense through him, so sometimes that could be a bad thing if he is too hurt. They don't have DeAnthony Mellon. who is one of their best perimeter defenders. I would say he's right up there with Oubre, honestly. Those are two big guys. They don't have Robert Covington, which at this point, kind of whatever. Robert Covington is also a good perimeter defender. They've like no one that scores the ball on this team. What did Philadelphia average on the year scoring wise? I don't even understand. How the hell is this team supposed to? They were 13th in scoring at 115 points a game. They don't have scorers on this team. I really like D'Anthony Melton, Robert Covington. If they were playing, that just adds to defense. Like, what was the goal? What is the goal of this roster construction? Embiid and Maxey scores 70 points combined, and then hopefully we can get 35 out of the rest. Like, I just don't get it. I don't get it. Straight up. Snipes goes, I don't even think this is don't even give them a gentleman's sweep. I think they would win at least one game in Philly. I would just be amazed. If the Knicks swept them, that would say so much about how good this New York team is right now and how operating at all cylinders they are. Techler goes, the Knicks want to end this quick despite what Vegas, Draymond Green, and ESPN analysts predict. They will grab the broomstick sweep. Yeah, again, same thing. If they can win both games in Philly, I would be chef's kiss. I would be happy. We'd all be happy. I would be slightly surprised, but like Knicks in 5 still sounds great. It's still, you win 5 games instead of 4. You still dominated the series. Most good teams will win at least the one game at home, if nothing else. Eugenio goes, agree, test Embiid. Ralph goes, Buddy Hield and Batum are non-existent in game 1. 76ers need them to be shooters. That's the thing about, Hield, Ralph, I don't know if you came on a little late, but I talked about Hield for like 5 or 10 minutes. Like, Buddy Hield's inability to even get shots up. He took 2 attempts in the 10 and a half minutes he was out there. Like, your whole thing is shooting. That's all you do. You're not a defender. You don't do anything else really well. You're not a playmaker. You don't dribble drive. I mean, you can off your own pump fakes, but for someone to respect your pump fake, you have to put the ball up in the first place or be willing to. And Nick Batum, he's had 5 games of at least 19 points in the last 2 seasons. And one of those games, he scored 20 in the play-in on Wednesday. He's more likely to score 6 than he is to score 15. And that just goes to what I said about how their team is set up. It's very, very, very top heavy. Here are our 2 scorers. Here's Kyle Lowry to kind of organize stuff a little bit. Here's a bunch of guys that play defense and shoot threes, and none of them are top level OG Anunoby defenders, and none of them are top level Dante DiVincenzo 3-point shooters, except for Buddy Hield, who apparently isn't even willing to shoot. So I don't know. Knicks 2024 champs, great choice. Knicks Cave, I'll get to you in a sec. The Sixers have only scored over 100 points once against the Knicks, and that was Saturday. Yeah, before this, their highest scoring game was 96. They scored unders 80 twice. I know the Knicks lost one of those games when they only scored 73 in the best rock fight of the 2020s, but they're not set up to score. They're not. If Embiid was like 100% healthy, 35, at his best, he was averaging 35 points per game this year. And Maxey was averaging 24 when he was averaging 35. So that's 70 points, 60 points from 2 guys. I just can't. If I'm a Sixers fan, I don't like what I'm seeing, personally. I'm just not. I don't. I just don't see it. I don't see it. And Hurt Joel Embiid, it makes it even harder to see. Nick's Cave goes, how do you feel about Ihart and Robinson playing at the same time at points to increase defense? I think Tibbs would never do this. For all the times we ever said Tibbs always has to play with a center, I think he would have tried this 8 to 10 years ago, maybe. I think the only team this would actually even make remote sense against would be the Minnesota Timberwolves to try, because they play Cat and Gobert at the same time. I would try it on 2K. I don't think it would ever happen, because you're saying, how do you feel about Ihart and Robinson play defense at the same time, Nick's Cave, right? And it's like, so generally speaking, we could always have OG Anunoby or Josh Hart are out there as like the best or second best perimeter defenders. And if you're playing Ihart and Robinson at the same time against the Sixers specifically, who their power forward in their lineup is Tobias Harris, who in essence can shoot threes and is a 3-point shooter who can dribble drive. And that's not what either Ihart or Robinson are great at defending. So I don't think it actually adds as much to what they would be doing defensively as you think it might. And then Eugenio says the offense part is, they can't be out there to do spacing and fouls. I wouldn't be worried about fouls per se, but the spacing for sure offensively, it's just like you're doing a lot of clogging. Like the last year when Tibbs was playing Hart and Sims at the same time when Mitchell was out for a little while, that would be very, very odd. Brunson, McBride, OG, Hart, Robinson. You're just not giving Brunson. So with that lineup, whoever is covering the 4, quote unquote, can come over for a double on Brunson every single time, and the rotations are just easier to get around. It just wouldn't. Maybe they would be a little better defensively, but what is the goal? You play a 3-minute stint and you win that 3-minute stint 4-3. Like, I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do it. In the 90s, why not? But not anymore. Dude, I don't know. I'm just a huge fan of spacing. Like my complaint about Mitchell Robinson in the past is that he didn't offer spacing offensively. He can't shoot free throws. Hartenstein doesn't shoot threes. He has a couple times in his career. He doesn't anymore with this system and coach, but his spacing at least involves catching the ball at the elbow line extended beyond the nail and being able to dish back cuts, being able to like do dribble handoffs a little better. He's a better passer. So that's why him spacing at the 5 works, but you can't play the two of them together. I don't think that would work. Nick, I can literally go, not against Philly, who aren't that big. Tekler goes, people think about the Knicks bench versus the Sixers bench. Tibbs got weapons to counter nurses. Nick Batum, Paul Reed, Buddy Hield, and 2 minutes of Campaign, who I feel like Campaign should have probably been out there a little more than Buddy Hield was. I don't know what that was about. That's probably going to change today. And again, I'm telling you, they should play Ricky Council. They need a guy that's like, go do what Josh Hart does, man. You're 22 years old. You're fast. You jump high. Like, go try to do that. Because the guys they're playing right now, Tobias Harris, your leading rebounder, your team is soft. I'm sorry. This is like, it looks like the Cavs all over again last year with a Hurt Embiid. But Batum and Reed combined for 7 points on 7 shots. And then Buddy Hield went 0 for 2, and Campaign went 0 for 1 in 2 minutes. So they got 7 points on 10 shots from their bench. Mitchell Robinson got 8 points on 5 shots and went 2 of 2 from the line. Mitchell Robinson, who scored 5 points less than Bogdanovic and 13 points less than Deuce McBride, almost outscored, or no, he did outscore the 76ers bench by themselves. The Sixers' whole bench scored 7, and Mitch scored 8. Now, if we add McBride and Bogdanovic, they won 44. No, that's not how math works. They won 42-7 in this time in the bench minutes. There's just not. Yeah. Oh yeah, Eugenio. Yeah, you're saying what I said before. Keep Tobias out there all day, man. Nick Nurse, we love Tobias Harris. I gotta say, New York's own from Long Island. I know he loves playing in the Garden. He always does great there. As you can see, last game he got 9 boards. I think that's worth it. Keep him out there. I don't know. You need someone to crash a little bit. Am I wrong? No. Yeah. But their bench, that's what I mean. I don't think this team is well constructed roster wise. And how much if D'Anthony Melton and Robert Covington were healthy, how much is that really adding to this team? I don't get it. This team is literally all reliant on an injury-prone center that's 7'2", and anyone over 7 foot is known to have constant leg and foot problems throughout all of NBA history. And Tyrese Maxey, who's an awesome piece. He's pretty young, though, and his best years are still 2 to 3 years ahead. He's a borderline all-star right now. He will be a for sure all-star probably starting next year, but like your third best player, again, is either Kyle Lowry or Kelly Oubre, and that's not good roster management. Those cannot. Kyle Lowry 6 years ago could be your second or third best player. Kyle Lowry is the second or third best player, won a title in 2019. It's 2024, and the guy is closer to 40 than 30. It's just not. Snipes goes, Josh Hart had an outlier game. Don't expect him to keep doing that. The Knicks are exposed at the power forward spot. They're playing Tobias Harris at the 4. We play OG Anunoby at the 4. I think we have a better player. I'm interested if they actually, because Nick Nurse was offered. He was offered $1 million. Nick Nurse was asked in one of the post games, or either yesterday morning during media availability, will you play Paul Reed and Joel Embiid together? And he basically, in so many words, said maybe, which probably means he will try it for a little bit. And Do you guys know how tall Paul Reed is? First of all, Paul Reed is listed as a small forward on ESPN and a power forward on Yahoo. He's not even a center. Like, he's a center the same way Precious Achiuwa is a center. As in, he can sometimes play the backup 5, and he's not really a 5. Paul Reed is 6'9". OG Anunoby is a longer wingspan than this guy, and Josh Hart averages about the same per 36 rebounds per game at 6'4". Josh Hart plays way more minutes. Paul Reed averages 6 rebounds in 20 minutes a game. He averages 6 rebounds in 20 minutes a game. That's not bad. That's solid. He's 6'9". He plays the backup center position. That's what you want. But Paul Reed's going to go out there, and they're going to have no spacing. Paul Reed is going to be left so wide open that I'm not worried about the Knicks necessarily being exposed at the 4 for this matchup. For this game in particular. Going back to the Minnesota Timberwolves thing, the iHeart and Mitch, like, the idea of them playing together. Like, the Knicks would be exposed to the 4 with Karl Anthony Towns playing power forward. The Knicks are not exposed to the 4 with Tobias Harris or Kelly Oubre or Nick Batum playing the 4, or even Paul Reed. It's just not. This is just not a good matchup for Philadelphia. I just don't see it. And if there's a Sixers fan watching, I'm sorry, man. I actually try to be one of the lesser, least homer people humanly possible. I'm so anti-homer sometimes that the other BKE guys get mad at me and joke around that I'm not a Knicks fan. That's how much sometimes I'm not anti-homer in our group chat and stuff. So if I thought the Sixers had a solid matchup or chance, I would 100% let you know. It's not it. It's not it. Techler, shout out Scott Foster. We won the Scott Foster game. Eugenio goes that Snipes might be RJ Barrett again. If RJ Barrett's watching this, it'd be funny as hell. Knicks in 2024 NBA champs. They're not benching Tobias. He's making $40 million a year. He got 31 minutes the first game, and I'm telling you, like, I don't. Benching him's a strong word. I think he stays in the starting lineup. I just don't think that he will play over 30 minutes in half the games in the series. And I think it's got to change now. I don't know. Nick Nurse maybe loves Tobias Harris like Tibbs loves Josh Hart. The only thing is Josh Hart wears his heart on his sleeve and tries his ass off, and Tobias Harris seems like he shrinks in the moment a lot. You know, Tobias Harris has actually been in the playoffs 7 times. He's been in the playoffs 7 times. The year he averaged the most points in the playoffs was no fans. That's right. It was COVID 2021 postseason. He averaged 22 points a game on 49, 37, 88% shooting. All 3 of those numbers I just said. No, he averaged 50% one year. I just don't see it. Tobias Harris should get less than 30 minutes. I mean, I'm cool with him getting 40. I don't really care. It helps us out. They just don't. Knicks in 5, guys. I'm about to get off. It's been around an hour 10. Let's Josh Hart also switches to the 4. That's the thing about the Knicks lineup is that they are switchable, especially if the Sixers aren't playing anyone that's 7 foot outside of Embiid. Nick Yak goes, does Philly trade Embiid next year after the Knicks eliminate them? Who would go there just for Maxey with all their cap money? That is the decision that makes teams overpay for guys like Dylan Brooks, Fred VanVleet, shout out Houston. Tobias Harris 4 years ago, shout out Philly. Like, overpaying for Jordan Poole, shout out Warriors, who thankfully sent him to Siberia, aka Washington. You lose great players, and then you overpay players that you shouldn't have to overpay. I think that there is a world that Philly actually ends up trading Embiid for like 5 or 6 first-round picks and just does a tank here. And just lets Maxey get all of the stats, makes the all-star team as like a 30-win team. There's a world. I don't think they're going to do it because I think a lot of owners and the way a lot of management and people think is that we have an all-star, we have an all-NBA, we have an MVP caliber talent on our team. Hang on to him throughout his whole prime, no matter what, and then see if we can win a title or how far we can go. The guy's never made the conference finals. It's been, how many years has it been with Joel Embiid now in the playoffs? The guy made the playoffs for the first time in 2017. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is their 7th postseason. 7th postseason. And he's never made the ECF. Every year except for 2019, he averaged way less points per game or worse shooting and or more turnovers. than he did in the regular season. And in 2019, they got swept in round one. He just scored 30 points a game. I don't know. I don't think Embiid can be a number one on a title team, and it's not because he's not good enough when he plays healthy to be a number one. It's because he's not healthy, and he never makes the playoffs. And he needs to go to a team that has, like, he basically needs to, like, do what Chris Bosh did. I don't know, take a pay. I mean, Chris Bosh got paid the most out of those three guys, but, like, go to a team that already has an all-star or two. Like, if OKC could send the farm to Philly to get Joel Embiid, and then you have SGA, Jalen Williams, and Joel Embiid, and you trade Chet Holmgren to, like, win the title next year or within the next 2 years, that's the type of thing that they have to do. Outside of that, they're going to keep Embiid forever, for better or for worse. And it's a shame. It's literally a shame for all of us as basketball fans. It's a shame for him as, like, a basically an all-time great, and a regular season all-time great, that he's not able to be who he is in December, in April and May. I can't even. How many of you, honestly, in your heart of hearts, outside of wanting the Knicks to make the finals every year, thought, like, I want to see Embiid and Jokic in the finals? I've thought that multiple times in the past 4 years. I didn't think it this past year because I just don't see it anymore. I just don't see Embiid be staying healthy. But 2021, 2020, 2022, all those years, like, Jokic and Embiid sounded like money. That sounded like peak, like Ali Frazier level, like, wow, this is a crazy matchup with two guys that play the same exact position. 1 and 2 in MVP voting, back-to-back years. They changed the All-NBA rules so that they could both make the All-NBA team at the same time. And he's never healthy. And then what's funny is that they changed the rules this year and he wasn't even there. It's just, I don't know. I don't get it. I think the Warriors would trade for Embiid. I don't know if they have all the first-round picks that would make that word. Eugenio, closing notes. The Knicks sweep 2-0 tonight. Let's go, BKE fam. F Barstool. Let's go. Snipes goes, Maxey's more tradable asset than a Hurt Embiid. But if you're the Sixers, you want to keep your 24-year-old All-Star more than you want to. I would, at least. I would want to keep my 24-year-old All-Star for the next 5 to 7 years than I would want to keep my 30-year-old all MVP caliber center. I actually don't agree with that. I think Joel Embiid would still net more on the open market than Tyrese Maxey. I think Joel Embiid literally is like 5 first-round picks or like 4 first-round picks, a couple pick swaps, and like players. I think Maxey would get you half of that. And I think as the franchise, you want to trade the older guy over the younger guy. If Philly keeps Embiid, I can see Paul George going there. I know that's been a rumor for a little bit, so that would be cool to see. I don't know. Great move, but everyone would protest the Thunder being a juggernaut if it's not the Fakers. That's funny. I would, and Nick, the Yak last thing. Maxey's 23. Exactly. 23, 24. He's only 23. That's why you want to keep him. Jabroni, shout out to you. Thank you. Also, awesome rock picture. Love this. And the fact your name's Jabroni. Peak, top notch. I work for WWE, so I respect that. Nick Yak goes, I would love to see the Knicks Mavericks finals. Can't believe the Mavericks lost game 1. If it wasn't already an hour 8 in, and I didn't talk so much about Joel Embiid and feeling bad for the Sixers and the Knicks going up 2-0. Final score prediction tonight. Stephen A, is your fault if the Knicks lose, but I'm going 106-97. Knicks win again. And going back to the whole, the Sixers can barely score if they score 100 points. They're relying on a bunch of guys that aren't scorers outside of Hurt, Embiid, and Maxey. I don't know. So I got the Knicks taking a 9-point win. Knicks cover the spread. I think that's the under. I haven't actually looked at the over-under. I just know it was 5.5 for the spread last I looked. Everyone check out our shop, picnicenergy.com. Make sure you check it out. Find the Deuce's Loose shirt. It's one of my favorite ones. We have 6 Brunson shirts available now. The 1A hoodie. The 1A shirt and 1A hoodie is going to be a big seller as we keep getting farther and farther into the postseason. Again, check out our sponsor for the playoffs, Autograph. Really cool app. Any team you follow, they have all of the content for that one team on one page. For the Knicks, they have Knicks Fan TV. They have us. They have Knicks Film School. They have the Strickland. They have Knicks Nation. They have, I'm sorry if I can't remember all the names right now, but they have everything on there. And anything you find, like I found an article from The Ringer about the Knicks, you send it in. You actually get points for sending articles in. You get points for reading. You get points for listening to podcasts on there. And as you build up points and rewards, you get prizes back. So currently I'm following both the Knicks and the Sixers. Once the Knicks aren't playing the Sixers anymore, I'll take the Sixers off. I'll add another team. Knock on wood. Hopefully the Knicks get to the second round. I get to add either the Bucks or the Pacers. But yeah, download Autograph. The link's in the description. Make sure you use our code BKE. BKE actually helps you get extra points. And yeah, let's go Knicks. Nick Yak goes Knicks by 20. Eugenio goes keep Stephen A out of the Garden. If only it wasn't all about money, we would all actually be able to keep Stephen A out of the Garden. But it is about money, and he works for ESPN. So Stephen A, try to be a real fan for once and learn how to say Isaiah Hartenstein's name next time he's on the team for a year and a half. Let's go Knicks.